far and expand our reach. Through Afromedia radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility. We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afromedia radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afromedia channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume.
All right, thank you very much, everyone joining us. I really appreciate it. Welcome to another great time all the way from Canada, and we're connecting with our studio here in Victoria, South Africa. I just want to sincerely thank those of you that you are connecting with this broadcast this hour. It's going to be a great conversation with the chairman of APC South Africa, and also is the CEO of Jollof Cafe Group. And we're going to be having this conversation with him to know and to understand the current situation of the coming election in Nigeria and the current situation of the APC South Africa. Everyone listening to us, join me to welcome one of our very own, one of the leaders of our community. Welcome, Honorable Oluwatoyin Oyekanmi. Honorable Oluwatoyin, welcome to this broadcast this hour. How are you today?
I'm very good, and you? Thank you for the opportunity to be live on your platform. It's an honor to be here.
I really appreciate you. Out of your busy schedule, you decide to give us this time to put you on the spotlight for us to get some clarity about the current situation in Nigeria, and also for us to know the progress report since when you become the chairman of the APC Southern Africa. And with that, let me just quickly take you to an aspect that is very important. Kindly introduce yourself to the listeners at home. You are not new to this house, but to the listeners in Canada and the rest part of the world, some people may be seeing you for the first time. Kindly introduce yourself to the listeners at home.
Oh, thank you very much, listeners. Thank you very much, the host. My name is Honorable Oluwatoyin Oyekanmi. I'm a Nigerian, and I'm based here in South Africa. As a public sector servant, I've served my time at the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for about 6 years as an investigative officer. And furthermore, I proceeded to the Bank of Industry, which happens to be the largest development finance institution in Nigeria and with partners all around the world. I consequently went into private sector where I founded a business called Jollof Cafe. Jollof Cafe idea was motivated from the need to create employment for our people here in South Africa and to promote the culture, the West African culture, amongst the South African populace. And then we embarked on the journey of Jollof Cafe 2 years ago. And in the last 24 months, we have succeeded in opening the 5 branches across the Johannesburg North, where we are currently employing a large number of Nigerians in our organization. And besides the private sector and my stint in the public sector, as a politician, I am currently the chairman of APC South Africa, and we had an election 2 months ago, December 9th, 2022. And since then, we have been working all day to see that we serve our people and we deliver the dividend of democracy to them and their families. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Toyin Oyekomi. It is a great pleasure to have you back on this program this hour. And I want to sincerely thank the team in Canada, Afromedia Canada and the African Portal. We both cooperate together to make sure that we put African content out there and also to put Africa on the spotlight for them to be able to tell their story. And I really appreciate every one of you in Canada in the studio. You are doing a great job. I really appreciate every one of you. I cannot be mentioning the names, but I really celebrate every one of you. Keep up the great job. Thank you very much for this great opportunity to be here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate every one of you. All right, let's quickly go into the business of the day. Currently, we are getting some feedback from Nigeria. Most especially, the election is just a few weeks away. But there are so much things happening in Nigeria, the scarcity of petrol, scarcity of the Naira, and many things is happening. I just want to hear from you as one of the key stakeholder of this so-called APC. Is this a sentiment, or is it really happening in Nigeria? There is a scarcity of Naira, that people are buying Naira with Naira inside Nigeria, that people doesn't have petrol. Is it a sentiment or is it a reality?
Thank you very much. You asked a question that in the last 2 months of us getting into office, what we have successfully done to make sure that the chapter is on the right footing. In the last 2 months after the election, what we have done is to seek the right mandate from our mother body, which is in Nigeria, to make sure that the chapter, the South African chapter, becomes a recognized chapter of APC Nigeria, and its executives are duly approved to be substantive executive of the chapter. And we have also gone ahead to see that the chairman, my humble self, has been appointed into the Presidential Campaign Council as a member of the Diaspora Directorate, whereby we are engaging with the principal on how to, engage with the diasporans. And besides the Presidential Campaign Council, I have also been appointed as a senior special advisor to the Tinubu Support Organization, a local and a grassroots platform that is engaging on grassroots mobilization for our principal, to be sure that come February 25, 2023, the victory of our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, becomes sacrosanct. That said, I must say that some of the current situation of Nigeria is currently, one of the things that we promised that we're going to alleviate. After the COVID issue that happened, that was a major menace globally, it was a global pandemic. COVID affected Nigeria a great deal, but what our government has succeeded in doing is to see that we reduce the adverse effects of COVID on our people, on our economy, and so many social intervention programs for the market women, for the students, school feeding programs, and so many other interventions to make sure that the adverse effects of COVID, a pandemic, does not have stronghold on our people in Nigeria. And secondly, we also understand that just after the COVID crisis that we're still managing, the Ukraine and Russia crisis also happened, whereby most of the refining products, most of the refineries that we work with in Russia and in other parts are unable to refine our product or to deliver the product because they've been placed under sanctions. So as we speak right now, some of those Russian refineries are under sanctions. We are currently looking for ways to diversify or to divert where our products will be refined accordingly. So all the challenges that we're currently facing with Ukraine and Russian war are affecting refined products and our line of production are currently being mitigated by this current government. And however, as we try to change our points of refining, some teething problems are currently being experienced, which is causing delay in at the pump, whereby people have to queue patiently to make sure that they have access to petrol at the time that is available. But that is not to say that we are not working as seriously to make sure that the petrol is refined and it gets to our people at the right time. But we just appealing to our people that the COVID and the Ukraine and Russian war and the sanctions that has been placed on some of those companies is affecting the economy like it's affecting other economies in the world. But our President Muhammadu Buhari, is doing everything in his capacity to see that all those adverse effects are currently being mitigated. And you also talked about some of the cash issues that you alluded. I must tell you right now that Nigeria is one of those countries that is currently working towards cashless policy, whereby we are digitizing our economy for us to have good tax administration, for our people to be able to have access to credit, for every benefit that digitalization of an economy brings for our people. These are some of the things that we're working on. So in a bid to achieve that, we have redesigned our currency so that these currencies become traceable, they become trackable. We know where what currency is, and so we're in the process of ensuring that we have a digitalized currency that is trackable, and we're also in the process of digitalizing our economy so that our people can have access to industrial, modern technology and modern ways of paying and exchanging goods and services. So Nigeria is currently in a transition from manual to a digital economy, and we are currently also trying, like we have currently just launched the largest refinery in the world, Dangote refinery in Ejuleki, to make sure that we are able to refine our products locally through the Dangote refinery, which is the largest refinery in the world. It refines over 650,000 crude daily. So these are some of the things that our government is actually putting in place to make sure that the foreign exchange that is currently leaving the country stays in the country by refining our product, the crude, locally. And we're also ensuring that our currency and our economy is digitized so that we can bring dividends of democracy to our people.
Wow, I really appreciate you, and I like the political idea that you use to come in. You are on the hot seat and you are on the spotlight, and right now is going to be balanced. We're going to be focusing on the progress of the APC South Africa since when you become the APC chairman of this region, Southern Africa. What are the progress that we can talk about in the last 2 months? What are the things that have happened? What are the things that the public will need to know about APC South Africa? I know there are some elements of a kind of fashionism that is happening, but is that affecting you as a person, or is that affecting your team? Let's know about that as well.
Sorry, can you come again with that question, please?
Okay. What I'm saying is that in the last 2 months that you have arrived as the chairman of the APC Southern Africa, I understand that there are some elements of the fashionism that is happening within the party in South Africa. Is this affecting the progress, or how are you dealing with this? Currently, how are you dealing with the fashionism and the some of the issue that is happening? How are you dealing with them?
Oh, thank you very much. According to the constitution, factionalization of the party, it's an offense within the party, and impersonating officers of the party is also an offense. However, what we have succeeded in doing is to apply democratic solutions to some of the challenges that we are facing. As we speak right now, we are currently reaching out to some of those leaders who are factionized. One of such leaders is Engineer Bola Babarende, who is one of the leaders of a faction in APC South Africa. I'm happy to announce to you first on this platform that we have agreed to work together. He has agreed to collapse his structure and to join our structure in a bid to, you know, see that we have one strong and formidable party in South Africa. And that said, we are constantly reaching out to the only outstanding faction, which is led by Legend Suleme, and we believe that he's going to see reasons to work with us because we are the legitimate chapter executive. We have received a mandate from the mother body, APSA Nigeria, and what that means for us is that we are the only recognized executive and chapter of APC South Africa. So whoever is not working with us is at his peril because it means that he is working outside the structure of the party. We would rather advise them to find another party to join, but we, in our democratic ways of doing things, we are setting up committees and modalities to reach out to all our grief members and those who are not currently working with us to see that we achieve a strong, united APC South Africa working for its people to deliver the dividends of democracy at all fronts.
Oh, thank you very much. So I'm so happy, and I'm happy to tell the people this is a very good aspect of this conversation. There's a clarity now that the other structure that is working against the current structure have agreed. So the both have agreed to work together, which is the passion of the that you just mentioned. So let's move forward on this conversation. Let's look at the progress so far. That's the achievement that you have been able to lay your hand on, like physically and within the your structure. What are the progress that we can talk about in the last 2 months?
Like I said, we are happy that since the chapter came into existence, this chapter has never been recognized by the national executive, that's the national working committee of the party. So one of the things that we did as a matter of urgency is to see that after the election, we proceeded to Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria, where we met with the leadership of the party, and the party then approved the executive that was elected on December 9th as the substantive executive. In fact, I just came back like 3-4 days ago from Nigeria, embarking on that trip. And secondly, our chapter has also been drafted into the election observation, electoral monitoring team of the national party, whereby 15 out of our members will be joining the election observers of the party across the 777 local governments in Nigeria to see that our chapter do not only, we are not just a chapter that is toothless, but we are also a chapter that is contributing to the growth and prosperity of Nigeria, and we are campaigning and working as seriously to ensure that our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, becomes the president of Nigeria in another 13 days. So all our focus right now is geared towards working to make sure that our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, becomes the president of Nigeria, wins the election, the general election, and we as a chapter, we do all within our power to contribute to that victory, so that when the time comes where chapters will be recognized, our members will be duly recognized as a major contributor to the victory of our principal. And that's been our focus. Besides seeking a mandate, our focus has been to ensure that our principal wins the general election.
Thank you very much. I like that. I like that. So, what is the 2023 election means to you personally?
The 2023 election means everything. It's a watershed moment for Nigeria. The election will decide what trajectory Nigeria takes as a country. The election will decide whether Nigeria will stay as a country or we will be divided. The election will decide whether Nigeria will join strong committee of nations that are contributing positively to the global economy. The election will decide the place of Nigeria when it comes to the affairs of global economy. And this election, like I said, is very sacrosanct. It's a watershed moment, and we cannot overemphasize the importance of this election to the survival of Nigeria as a country. And that is why we in APC, we have looked critically and told ourselves the truth that if Nigeria must cease to exist, if Nigeria must continue to exist as a country and on the path of development, we have no other principle, no other Nigeria right now to take Nigeria to where it ought to be than Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who happens to be the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress Nigeria. So this election means everything to us as a party, and it means everything to Nigeria as a country, because this country cannot continue to go in the wrong direction. This country cannot continue to rely on aid or loan. This country must start generating its resources and supporting global issues and even other African countries within the continent. And we hope that Nigerians will get it right and vote for our principal, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I like what you say, but let me quickly take you to a very sensitive aspect of this conversation. You mentioned that Nigeria cannot continue to be going in the wrong direction. The APC government have been in power for another 8 years now. Are you referring to the last 8 years as a wrong direction for Nigerians, or what exactly are you trying to bring out? Then, having said that, let's quickly look at some of the comments that we received from the some of the members of the APC. Are you still there?
I'm here. I'm here with you, sir.
All right. Right. Are you here now? Okay. Thank you very much. I like that. I like what you say. Let me just quickly quote you from what you say, that Nigeria cannot afford to be going on the wrong direction. Are you saying that the last 8 years of APC government in Nigeria is the wrong direction?
What I want to say is that before APC came into office, Nigeria was ridden by corruption by the last 16 years of PDP in government. That is one thing. In fact, I will tell you that the corruption that took place under APC, under PDP, has never been experienced before in Nigeria. PDP 16 years wrecked the financial position of Nigeria. You can look at our foreign direct investment. You can look at our foreign reserve. All those were depleted by PDP. When APC came into power in 2015, Nigeria was at a critical moment that, had it been APC had not stepped into power at that time, I do not think that Nigeria will be in existence as of today. And why am I saying all of that? From 2015 to date of President Muhammadu Buhari, look at the global economy that Nigeria had to manage. Global challenges like COVID-19, it's a global pandemic, affected every nation. As I speak to you right now, inflations in Europe, in America, they are skyrocketed as a result of some of the challenges that COVID-19 brought. And Nigeria is not isolated from this issue of or the resultant effects of COVID-19. So thank God we have a president in the person of President Muhammadu Buhari to manage Nigeria at that crucial and important time. Thank God PDP was not in power at the time that COVID-19 hits the global economy. Secondly, I would also submit to you that thank God that we have APC in power when Ukraine and Russia war broke out. The effect of that war on the global economy, which is also still being experienced across board, cannot be overemphasized. So what we are saying is that our job in the last 8 years has been to manage and to maintain what Nigeria has as a country. And thank God that we have a leader who is prudent, not only prudent, who loves Nigeria dearly and will not entertain corruption from any quarters. So what we are saying right now is that in the last 8 years, we have succeeded in salvaging the soul of the country from the corrupt 16 years of PDP. We have succeeded in preventing COVID-19 from destroying our economy. We have succeeded in preventing the effect of Ukraine and Russian war to affect our economy. What the kind of leader that we need right now is the leader that has the innovation, that has the talent, that has the ability to identify the best team in the world to move Nigeria to the next level, so that the wasted 16 years of PDP can be salvaged accordingly.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I really like that clarification. Let's quickly look at some of the comments that we received from some of the APC member. One of the governor, the governor of the Kano State, El-Rufai, says something that there is element of sabotage of the incoming election at the Aso Rock. Can you put a light on this? And also, the candidate of the APC also mentioned some certain things during the campaign that election, all these kind of statements, that is that you are trying to sabotage the currency and the fuel for the electioners to go on. Is this a sentiment? Is this kind of comment? Is this something that is going to give? That is giving the the APC a good direction, or what is your view about this?
Thank you very much. When our principal said, that shows how concerned our principal is about the masses. Our principal understands that without fuel, without energy, an economy cannot move forward. Without cash, an economy will be trapped. But our principal knew the antics of the opposition, knew the game plan of PDP to make sure that this election is sabotaged, to make sure that they work with the bad elements to ensure that cash is not in circulation, or to make sure that all the petrol major players work with the PDP to ensure that Nigerians do not have access to the petroleum product. So when our principal was talking on podium in Abeokuta, he was referring to the evil nature of PDP, working to sabotage the Nigerian economy by ensuring that the cash that ought to be in circulation are being held in various banks by the bank managers, who are either loyal to PDP or not loyal to this government. So our principal was talking about those evil elements within the financial sector that are conniving with the PDP, with the Labour Party candidates, and those evil elements within the oil and gas sector that are also working with opposition, telling them that whatever they are doing is they are on the wrong trajectory. The bank managers, the petrol dealers, they must bring out the fuel, they must bring out the money and make it available to Nigerians so that Nigerians will not suffer from their evil antics. So when our leader was making such statements, he was directing it emphatically to the oppositions that are working with with major players within those sectors.
I like that. I like what you say. Very, very interesting. But let's argue about this a bit, or let's debate this a bit. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to come out and say that, does that mean that the APC is no longer in charge of the Aso Rock. I mean, because APC is the one in government. For him saying that, that means that APC is not in charge in Aso Rock? What does that mean? Are you still there? All right, with that, let's just quickly go back to the studio in Canada. Okay, give us 1 minute. Let's quickly go back to studio in Canada. Let's quickly get some advert from the studio in Canada so that we can be able to also have a very great time and have an idea of what is going on from the studio. Back to you in the studio.
In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the coming show, we will have a guest from South Africa who is both an author and a speaker. The CEO of the African Portal Radio TV International based in South Africa. Further, he is also an author, motivational speaker, model, and businessman. He also studied journalism at the University of Pennsylvania. He is the founder of and member of several organizations advocating for the African state and African development. In the
All right. Thank you very much, everyone joining us. I really appreciate those of you in the studio. You guys are doing a great job, and I really appreciate every one of you. Honorable Toye, I see you are in the best position right now. I do understand that you just want to cover the time to make sure you get to your base. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. This shows the great leader, and this shows your commitment to the swear that you saw to your people, that you will serve them. And I really appreciate that. Thank you very much for this. Let's quickly continue with the program before we call it a day out of this program today. Let's look at the comment of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is this means that APC is no longer in charge of the Aso Rock?
That would be an unfortunate statement from anybody, and those type of statements always originate from the opposition. Our leader, President Muhammadu Buhari, is in charge of this government, but you have to bear in mind that when you look at the sector that we're currently that we're talking about right now, which is the cash and the monetary sector policies, as the case may be, the Governor of Central Bank, Governor Emefiele, Central Bank of Nigeria is an autonomous body that serves to control both the fiscal and the monetary policies of Nigeria. What our leader has demonstrated that it does not interfere in different organs of the country that ought to run their own or bring their own contribution to how Nigeria is being run. Take, for instance, there has never been a time where our leader has interfered in the National Assembly on how they implement or they bring about their laws. Our leader has never interfered in the judiciary on what to do. It's an autonomous and independent organ of the government, and they are made to function accordingly. And as the same thing, the Central Bank of Nigeria, being an autonomous body, the Central Bank of Nigeria has been given all the power in the Constitution to bring about monetary policies that will, favor the Nigerian people. So when you talked about us, because we are not interfering in other arms of government, that alluding that we are not in charge of the economy, that would be an unfortunate thing. That simply means that our leader respects the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and will act as prescribed in the Constitution. So we are very much in charge of the government, but what we will not do is not to interfere in other arms of government or prevent them from doing their job. But when the need arises for our leader to step in issues that will affect Nigeria, or on ways to alleviate the suffering of Nigeria, we will always engage with those institutions or organs of government in that regard to make sure that the Nigerian people suffering or challenges are alleviated. We are very much in charge of this government. We are fair. We are very neutral. We don't interfere in every things that ought not to be interfered in, and we allow the system to run and to get its balance accordingly.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Toyin. That's a very beautiful one from you. Let's quickly go to the next question, which is what is with the current situation of things in Nigeria economically, where do you see Nigeria beyond 2023?
Oh, thank you very much. That's a brilliant question. Nigeria right now generates about over 90% of its revenue from oil. So what I can tell you, one, is that Nigeria is going to assume a leadership role in that regard. Nigeria is more of a gas economy than an oil economy. Imagine Nigeria building a pipeline from Nigeria up onto Europe, whereby we're able to supply Europe with LNG, with liquefied natural gas. That would put Nigeria in a position to compete with countries like Russia, with Saudi Arabia, with America, by building pipelines to those markets that will give Nigeria foreign exchange. So what that means is that beyond 2023, when our leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, assumed duty, you will be seeing radical transformation within the oil and gas sector. And its policies and programs will put Nigeria in a position to compete with the bigger players within the OPEC Plus. That's one. Secondly, you're going to see a new economy where that is properly digitized, so that when you go to foreign countries, you don't need to, all they need to do is to run checks on you, your credit ratings and all that. You'll be able to access student loan, market loan, and some other loans and credits that could help improve your lives. Without such infrastructure or such programs in place, it will be hard for government or for Nigerians to be able to access loans at different levels of their lives. Part of what we are doing as a country beyond 2023 is to make sure that Nigeria becomes digitalized, whereby cash becomes digitalized, and then we reduce reliance on cash, and then we rely more on digital currency, whereby you will have access to so many financial products because your details and your reports, credit reports, can be accessed by financial institutions. That is where we are getting into. And then within the financial space, Nigeria will also be able to improve on its tax administration, whereby those who are evading tax, those who ought to pay tax, are able to pay it because the system is properly managed, is properly coordinated, and the tax and internally generated revenue that the government needs so badly will be collected because now the data are there. Those are some of the things that are going to do beyond 2023. And I can continue to talk about infrastructural development, infrastructural programs that we are going to be, initiating. I can talk about the agricultural reform that will take place. Right now, the Imota rice mill is the largest rice producer in Nigeria. These are some of the policies of President Muhammadu Buhari in Kebbi State and in the north, whereby we were able, there has been a rice revolution in the north, and another company in the south built to refine and package this rice so that Nigeria stopped relying on rice importation. From 2015 to date, Nigerians are producing rice within and they are consumed within. We are fast becoming an exporter of rice to other countries. And in different sectors, you can also talk about the judicial reform, and so many other reforms that will be taking place to make sure that Nigeria is not just a giant of Africa in rhetorics, but we're a giant of Africa in, using every variables, every measurement, every KPI needed to measure and to justify that claim that we're indeed a giant of Africa. And we can indeed provide that needed leadership that Africa currently yearns for badly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, joining us. This is coming to you from Afro Media Canada in connection with the African Portal Radio TV International. And we have on the spotlight right now, Honorable Otumba Oluwatoyin Oyekome, the current chairman APC Southern Africa, and also is the CEO of Jollof Cafe Group globally. And it's live and direct on the African Portal, responding to some questions on the African Portal and putting light on some certain things that people, especially the ordinary citizen of Africa, Nigeria, the question they may be asking, or some certain thing they need clarity on. And he's doing a great job on this program this hour. And I really appreciate you, Honorable Toyin, for this great response that is coming from you. Let's quickly look at this. No job, no road, no electricity, no petrol, no cash. Who is to blame for this? Whose fault is this?
Like I've rightly mentioned, that thank God for President Muhammadu Buhari, and thank God for the APC government that has worked assiduously in the last 8 years to see that Nigeria gets saved from the corrupt government of the PDP. And thank God that our leader is in charge to take us through the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank God that he's still in charge to navigate us through the challenges and the ripple effects of the Russia-Ukraine war. And thank God that we have a leader who is anti-corruption, and to ensure that what Nigeria has is used judiciously, as the case may be. Some of the challenges that we're currently facing in Nigeria, we're a country in transition. We've been able to steady the ship in the last 8 years, and ensure that Nigeria does not sink, using as a result of all these challenges that I've mentioned. So in the next 8 years of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, we're going to be seeing innovation being deployed. We're going to be seeing transformation deployed. We're going to be seeing new industries and new sectors open up. We're going to see a more digitalized Nigeria. We're going to see a country that is now over 200 million people in Nigeria will not be enough for the job that will be created within the technological sector, the agricultural sector, the oil and gas sector, the financial sector. You're going to see a revolution of ideas and innovation in the next 8 years of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is one thing I can assure you on this program, that Nigerians should be rest assured, should go out in numbers and vote for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so that it can continue the transformation that has happened in Lagos across the country, so that Nigeria will take its rightful place amongst the community of nations.
All right. Thank you very, very much. So what you're saying in essence is that you don't want to point finger on anyone. It's not anybody's fault. We should just accept that it's what destiny brought to us. Is that what you are saying?
Like I said, if you heard me right, I said there has been challenges that are global in nature. And you can quite agree with me that Nigeria is not an isolated country. We live within a global economy. The challenge that Nigeria is facing is also being faced in Europe, in America, in Asia as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And what Nigerian government under the APC leadership has done is to steady the ship, to manage the economy in spite of the COVID-19 challenges. And you also must agree with me that the Ukraine-Russia war, which has prevented the flow of commerce, the flow of petroleum products, and amongst other things, as a result of sanctions that are placed on this major economy. Nigeria refines most of its products in Russia. If Russia and Ukraine are fighting currently, and most of those companies are currently placed under sanctions, Nigeria, we have to look for innovative ways to seek areas of alternative. So these are challenges that are beyond the control of the Nigerian government. But in our ingenuity, we've been able to manage the country so that the people can still call Nigeria their home, and the country can still be in a position to reinvent itself under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. I just want you to be clear on this. This is a hot seat, and I want you to be clear about it. Let's look at England. England is is the country that colonized Nigeria, but they are practicing a kind of democracy that are still under the monarch. Why is it that the monarch system in Africa is not working? Do you see democracy as the best way of government in Africa?
Thank you very much. Nigeria is a republic, and as a republic, in 1963, Nigeria became a republic, and in 1960, we got our independence from the British government. What that means is that as a republic, it becomes a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Anybody can emerge from within or from any part of the country to provide leadership. And I believe that's one of the best form of governance in the world, where anybody can come forward with innovative ideas from like Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu would come forward and present his idea, and regardless of where it comes from, it can be given an opportunity to lead Nigeria to a brighter future. So I would subscribe to a republic than a monarch system any day, anytime, because I believe it's a system of governance that provides opportunity for every Nigerian living in the country to provide leadership and to reform or to provide some sort of growth within their capacity for the advancement of the nation.
All right. Thank you very much. We're going back to the studio after this. I just hopefully want to get this right. You've mentioned a bit of it, but I just want to expand it a bit. What is future hold for the incoming generation of Nigeria, and what is future hold for the youth of today?
The future can only be bright. Right now, there are indices that point in that direction. Let me give you an instance. Nigeria, like I said, is a gas economy. Look at a situation where Nigeria becomes a net importer of gas to Europe that is currently in deficit as a result of the sanctions that is placed on Russia. Look at a situation whereby we are able to build pipeline from Lagos down to Germany, down to the UK, down to EU, and we are providing gas to these nations. Imagine the amount of revenue that will come to Nigeria as a result of that. These are some of the innovative strategies that our leader is proposing. What that means is that there will be enough to develop the infrastructure, to improve on the welfare systems of Nigeria, to bring about development in key areas like agricultural and the mining sector. And when development gets to agricultural sector, mining sector, and other major sectors, you can imagine a number of jobs that will be created. These are some of the innovations that our leader is got for the youth of Nigeria. Besides that, look at the technological sector in Nigeria. If you go to Yaba today, the type of companies that have cropped up from Yaba as a result of the enabling environment created by our leader, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was the governor of Lagos State. You can talk with a company like Flutterware, $1 billion company.
Honorable Tony, sorry to cut you short. Let's quickly hear what people are saying. I have a caller calling all the way from Lagos. Let's hear from people as well, so that it will not be as if that we are the only one driving this car. Let's hear from the masses as well. Good day, and thank you very much for taking time to be part of this conversation. Kindly let us know who is on the line, please.
Evangelist Ola Ibibo is on the line from Lagos, Nigeria.
From Lagos, Nigeria.
Yes.
All right.
Ola Ibibo from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you very much for calling in all the way from Lagos. I have one of the great politicians and one of the community leader with me on this program. Honorable Tony Oyekomi is the chairman of APC Southern Africa. In 1 minute, what can you tell us about the current government in Nigeria, and what is your view about what is happening in Nigeria now?
My own view on what is happening present in Nigeria. Actually, I wouldn't want to blame the entire situation on the Mr. President. No, I don't think that would be fair personally to blame the entire situation of what is happening on Mr. President. I believe Mr. President meant well for the general masses of Nigeria, but however, the implementation of this policy, for instance, the situation in Nigeria is so tense now in terms of cash crunch, accessibility to the cash is not even available. It's not available anywhere. So the government have a good policy, but bad implementation and or bad timing. It has to do with bad timing. You know, it might be bad implementation and the wrong time at which the policy is being implemented. I'm telling you, because let's look at it. Election is around the corner. The feeling of the average Nigerian masses is that this is targeted towards some certain group of politicians. That's the feeling. We don't have to deceive ourselves. So, but if the policy, if that is the feeling of the Nigerian masses, the masses are the ones suffering so much in this matter. But however, I believe if the government want to implement a new policy, they've got to take a proper look at the effect, at which this policy will have on the general masses. I'm telling you, it's not having a good effect at all. And that is why I hail the Supreme Court judgment about the extension, extension of the policy or this kind of Naira design, in which the new Supreme Court judgment just got it, has given mandated government to allow this policy to be extended, and it will be a big relief. So on the government generally, if I want to score this government, I will score them high in terms of infrastructure. Forget about what people are saying or the killings in the media propaganda. From little that we able to see the second Niger bridge, a lot of things they tried, but not in the area where I will score them is the area of security. They not perform very well.
Okay, Evangelist Ola, thank you very much for this insight. I really appreciate it. In fact, you are you a APC member? Are you an APC member?
Actually, I want the best for Nigeria. I don't really belong to any particular party.
So you are not somebody that's actually going for the party, but you can categorically let us know that this current government really tried in the area of infrastructure.
In terms of infrastructure, no. It will be unfair to say that God is done well. I can see that they is done well in the area of infrastructure.
Okay.
It's just whatever anybody says, well, it's their opinion.
Okay.
Infrastructure, development. Oh my God, they tried.
Okay.
But security, no.
The security is no.
They didn't perform very well in that area. But infrastructural development, forget it. Massive drill, you can see the train working. They've done very well.
Honorable, Evangelist Ola, thank you very much. Because of our time, I really appreciate it. You really put a solution to the problem of the next question. Thank you very much for the pleasure of your time. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Thank you very much. That is a caller all the way from Lagos. Honorable Toyi, I don't need to ask you the next question because this caller already made the job easy for you. As a matter of fact, I don't know who is this person, but this person categorically let us know that the current government really try in the area of infrastructure. Having said this, this is where we're going to be drawing the curtain. Honorable Toye, before you go, what is your advice to Nigeria in 1 minute? Then we go back to studio, then we call it a day. What is your advice to everyone, especially South Africa and Nigeria in South Africa, in 1 minute? We have just 4 minutes to round up.
What I can say is that the foundation for a greater Nigeria has been laid by President Muhammadu Buhari. And the assurance Nigerians will have from us in APC is that we have an opportunity to elect a leader in the person of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has demonstrated capacity as a community leader, as a leader that listens, and a leader that is, passionate about delivering dividend of democracy to the people. So my appeal to people is to come out in numbers on February 25th and vote for Asiwaju, because that is the best ticket for us to have a greater Nigeria ahead of us. And for my family in South Africa, one thing they can be rest assured is that they have a leader who is not only going to be here in South Africa doing politics of internet, will be deeply rooted in Nigeria to make sure that the dividends and the policies and the programs designed for Nigerians in diaspora, they have a very deep touch. Touches their lives accordingly. So we are set on the trajectory to impact lives. Our leader is committed to that agenda, and we who are also following him, we have no choice to make sure that the lives and properties of Nigeria globally and everywhere in the world is protected and improved upon. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Tony Oyekomi. Thank you for coming out to be part of this program. This is coming to you from Afro Media Canada. I'm back to the studio now. My name is Joshua Oludare OLUSAN. I will see you again next week on the same channel, on the same time. Keep well, keep sharing, keep smiling. Back to you in the studio. God bless you.
We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afro Media radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists. You can only watch Canadian Afro Media channels. It was and still is a very enriching experience to interact with you. All opinions are welcome, but they are not our views, and we assume no responsibility. We broadcast from Ottawa City, the capital of Canada. Together, we raise the bar and expand our reach. Through Afro Media radio and social media channels. The viewpoint here transcends the narrow constraints of traditional media. In the human story, we take sides. Leading personalities are interviewed. We conduct professional reviews and reports. The original content we produce is created and presented by international journalists.
Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afro Media offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives. Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afro Media offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives. Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers? Afro Media offers an engaging media platform so you can begin your journey today. Explore our website now and let yourself be moved by the incredible tales of these incredible creatives. Ready to be inspired by the amazing stories of best-selling authors and filmmakers?